Hey gang, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I am still alive, still kicking, still going. And I've just kind of taken a little bit of a hiatus during the whole COVID situation because it's been kind of mentally overwhelming for me. And so I thought today, this afternoon, I would come on here and just come and talk to you. I don't want to necessarily talk about to pyramid or anything of that nature, but what I do want to talk about is anxiety, which is something that I've been dealing with. And I don't know how many of you deal with anxiety or not, but I want to talk to you about some things that I've been doing to try to help myself, some things that I think that are really important, and that hopefully maybe some things that could potentially help you if you deal with some of these things yourself. Because of some issues that I've had in my family that unfortunately I can't discuss here, I have been dealing with a lot, and I needed to seek therapy. I did have therapy. If you've been here for a while, if you've watched any of my past videos, you know that I went through a divorce a little over 8.5 years ago. And during that time, I sought therapy, and that was the best thing that I've ever done for myself. And I encourage anyone to seek mental health therapy. I think that is just such a necessity. We take care of the rest of our bodies. We need to take care of our mental health too. And so I did therapy at that time for probably between a year and a year and a half. And then I felt better. And so I stopped going. And because I mean, it does get a little bit costly, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would spend the money all over again because it was so necessary and so needed. And I had come to a point again in my life where I needed to seek out therapy, and I started again just this past Thursday evening. And I did it through online kind of a telehealth therapy. I was finally able to reach my therapist, and that's all that they are doing right now because of the current virus situation. And I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety. When I first initially went through therapy several years ago, I was diagnosed with PTSD because of things that I had gone through in my marriage. And I guess I kind of thought that I felt like once I had gone through therapy at that point in time, I thought that I had kind of dealt with things and kind of wrapped things up in a nice little box and dealt with it, and I was good. And with PTSD, and granted, there are different variations of PTSD, and I feel for anyone who has it. It's a struggle, and sometimes it does not take much to upset the apple cart, so to speak, and to throw you into kind of a panicky anxiety attack. And sometimes you don't even necessarily realize what it is that can throw you into that. And sometimes you do. Sometimes it's as clear as the writing on the wall. And something happened to me about a month and a half ago, and that was very traumatic, and that really flared up my PTSD. And since then, I've just been really on a kind of a heightened state. And so anyway, I just knew that I needed to go back to therapy. And something else that I've just been really triggered with a lot of things lately. And for one thing, and maybe none of the rest of you have this, but I know for myself, just dealing with bills, for example, that's a big one, money issues. When I was married, that was always a bone of contention between my then husband and I. He wouldn't work with me with the bills. He was always a good provider. Don't get me wrong. I will say, and I always will say, monetarily, he was always a good provider. But there has to be more than that. You have to work together knowing what bills are there, what needs to be paid, when they need to be paid, and not screaming at your partner and belittling them for wanting to pay the bills. And so a little piece of my PTSD happens when I have a bunch of bills that are coming due, and maybe sometimes, depending on what's happening in life, sometimes the money is running a bit thin. And so what I have found, what I wanted to share with you, and I've been journaling. I have my journal, and I was writing in it this afternoon, and it just made me want to come here because it's been so long since I've talked to you guys, and I miss you guys terribly, but I just not been in a good headspace to be here. But today I just wanted to talk to you about, you know, reiterate again about journaling and seeking, you know, a therapist for therapy. And like for me, I think when as far as like for my bills, when I get overly anxious, the best thing that I can do is to just slow down, sit down like I did today at my desk, go over my bills, see what is coming due, you know, start to push the pencil or punch the numbers in the calculator and say, okay, here's what's due, here's when it's due, here's, you know, my income and when it's coming in, and okay, this is just, it's going to have to wait. Here's what I can pay. Here's something that is an automatic payment that's going to pull, so this is going to have to come first. But it's just the act of actually sitting down and seeing where I'm at and kind of creating a game plan of, okay, here's my strategy, here's my game plan, here's what's happening. And once I do that, once I sit down and kind of make a game plan and see where I am and take a deep breath, it helps. And I know for some that don't know what it's like to deal with anxiety or to deal with PTSD, you don't have any idea of what I'm talking about. And good, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. because it's taking everything within me right now not to bawl, because I could very easily. And sometimes you have to do that too. Sometimes just to alleviate the pressure, sometimes you just have to have a good cry and know that that's okay. And also know that you shouldn't be so hard on yourself all the time. Because that's what I have a tendency to do. And because I think I always expect myself to be perfect all the time. And there's no one but Jesus in this world that is perfect. None of us are perfect, you know, none of us. But when you've had things drilled into you of, you know, certain expectations over the years, I mean, you get into a mindset, and that's so hard to erase those old tapes. But it's just something that we have to consistently work on in and of ourselves. But I just want to check in and let you guys know that I'm still here. I hope that you guys are doing well. This is such a crazy time in our world. I just pray that you are all doing safe. Because that's part of my persona too, is that I worry too much. And I worry about you guys. I wish I didn't worry so much, but it's just the nature of the beast. Part of being an empath, I guess. I just worry too much. But bottom line is, take care of yourselves. Reach out and get help if you need it, because your mental health is so unbelievably important. And just know that I love you all. I'm still here. If you need to talk, you can always, you know, put a comment down below. I try to reach out as soon as I can. And for those of you who I've maybe delayed on making comments back to on certain things, you know, my apologies. I've just been kind of going through things a little bit, and I've just needed to take care of myself for a bit. So take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. One day at a time, one foot in front of the other. But I pray that you are healthy, that you are happy, that you are safe. And I pray that you have peace in your life. Until we meet again, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And I will catch you on the flip side. Love you guys.